One of the biggest flashpoints in the 2016 presidential election came around records retention, emails, email servers, responsibility with classified and sensitive information, all directed at Hillary Clinton. Remember that this was the biggest storyline about Hillary Clinton. She would be in jail, Trump said, if I was president, because of what she did with emails and documents and so on and so forth. Every day now, I'm not exaggerating, every day, just over the weekend, each day, there was another major story about the Trump White House and records. And we're going to look at two of those stories now. And the first is that essentially a raid took place on Mar-a-Lago, where the National Archives showed up to get Trump's documents, many of which related to meetings with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Remember those love letters? Remember Trump said, and we fell in love. Trump did not turn over the records to the National Archives. He took them to Mar-a-Lago, and the National Archives had to go down there and get the records. This is an incredible story. Washington Post reporters Jacqueline Alemany, Josh Dawsey, and others reporting President Trump improperly removed multiple boxes from the White House that were retrieved by the National Archives last month from his Mar-a-Lago residence. He just took the documents home because they contain documents and other items that should have been turned over to the agency, according to three people familiar with the visit. The recovery of the boxes from Trump's Florida resort raises new concerns about his adherence to the Presidential Records Act, which requires the preservation of memos, letters, notes, emails, faxes, and other written communications related to a president's official duties. Trump advisors deny any nefarious intent, of course, and say the boxes contain mementos, gifts, letters from world leaders. Who could not realize that those are presidential records and other correspondence? The items included correspondence with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, which Trump once described as love letters.
And then we fell in love.
Right. As well as a letter left for his successor by President Barack Obama, according to two people familiar with the contents. Discussions between the archives and the former president's lawyers that began last year resulted in the transfer of the records in January. Another person familiar with the materials said Trump advisors discussed what had to be returned in December. People familiar with the transfer spoke on the condition of anonymity. So in December, they explained to Trump what needed to be returned. And it took the National Archives showing up later to actually get the stuff. The archives have struggled to cope with a president who flouted. There it is, guys. See, I told you it's a real word. People always say when I say flouted, David, don't you mean flaunted? And I say, no, I mean flouted. A president who flouted document retention requirements and frequently ripped up official documents, leaving hundreds of pages taped back together. So this is this story, and we're going to talk about the incineration of documents in a moment. This is the prototypical backwards projection scam that was this entire presidency. The story in 2016 was Hillary's going to do bad stuff with records. Hillary can't be trusted with email, documents, classified, secret, sensitive. And since Trump has left, we found out that the real concern around all of those things was Donald Trump and his kids and other people that worked for him. Do we think Hillary would have eaten documents as Donald Trump allegedly did? No. Do we think Hillary would have ripped documents and tossed them onto the floor and then people run in and grab the scraps and tape them back together? Of course not. Do we think Hillary would have taken documents about foreign policy meetings and letters from foreign leaders to her house? Give me a break, guys. And we can argue about anything else about Hillary versus Trump. That's fine. But on this issue, which was the flashpoint about why Hillary can't be trusted, Trump's the guy that we need to worry about. I would love to hear more about the retrieval that took place. And this is not the only story about Trump and White House records that we have today. The next story relates to incineration. One of our longtime sponsors is Monk Pack, giving you 20% off Monk Pack's keto nut and seed bars, which taste just like your favorite sweet snacks, but without the guilt, because they have only 1 gram of sugar, 2 to 3 net carbs, and 150 calories. A great snack if you're doing keto, if you're doing low carb, and if you just want a low sugar snack. I love the Munk Pack nut and seed bars. Great balance of sweet and salty, satisfyingly crunchy, soft and chewy. Because I like these so much, I use Munk Pack's subscription feature, sends them straight to my house on a regular basis, and saves me 10%. If you don't love Munk Pack as much as I do, they will refund you all your money. I think there's a really good chance Munk Pack nut and seed bars become your favorite go-to snack. Munk Pack is giving you 20% off your first order. Go to monkpack.com and enter the code PACMAN at checkout.